Hey guys, this is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 193 on YouTube and Spotify. Can you believe it, guys? We made it to episode 193, and I also want to announce that I am making my associate producer debut at the Mic Drop Comedy Club in Claremont Mesa Boulevard on September 6th, 10 o'clock, in the Gold Room, with headliner Jeremy Gumbo Christian and his friends. Should be a fun night. It's gonna be pretty cool, guys. I've actually got to see him, and he was pretty funny. And the people that he had on his show, a lot of great people, a lot of great comics. And so, if you guys are free Friday night, 10 o'clock, September 6th, you get to see Gumbo and his friends, and you get to see me introducing some new comics and possibly comics I want to, people that are non-comics I want to try their hand at stand-up comedy. 3 minutes, and the judges are going to be basically the people. So, should be a fun night. Might see some new comics. Might see a star in the making. So, but yeah, I'm an associate producer for this show. I'm kind of excited. Gumbo made a flyer with my picture on it. This could be something big, guys. Anywho, on this episode 193, there were two shows I want to talk about. We got the Cringe show with Taylor Spencer at the Mic Drop Comedy Club. That was on August 22nd. And we got a Forgotten Barrel comedy show, variety show, with jazz music and comedy. Jazz music provided by It Takes Two. Michael Moaze and Gerald Dukes. It Takes Two. And then, of course, comedy from Pman and Sarah Hirschberger. So let's get into it, guys. So the Cringe show. I got invited to the show by two of the comics. I want to check it out. Taylor Spencer and Ellis Lynn. It was an interesting show because I guess they're gonna tell some jokes that are very cringeworthy, and I guess you could say some of it was. So Taylor came out. She wore a very nice suit, very sparkling suit. Is very, I guess you could say, an eye-catching, eye-catching sparkly suit. When it's your own show, you gotta show out. So Taylor Spencer kind of introduced us what's going to happen, and then she told us that the comics will be telling some jokes that are very cringeworthy, and another aspect of it was Truth or Dare, and based off of their Truth or Dare response, the fans are gonna vote for the cringiest comedy set and the cringiest answer during Truth or Dare. So, uh, so there would have been two different winners basically, and Taylor kind of told some jokes to start off the show. Um, really good jokes. She told us about the zoo. She did talk about the theater, and well, you kind of have a built-in crowd with the zoo colleagues of both the headliner Chris Cobbler and Taylor Spencer. So they kind of made up for the loud, cheery section of the comedy show. So they came out in full force. um, so Taylor Spencer, her comedy, I would say it was a 8.75 out of 10. She did really well with this crowd. Um, what's cool about this is that Taylor Spencer actually provided a yearbook where she told us that she was the president of a club in high school, or a Christian or a Catholic high school, and she was the president of this club called Master Hands. So that was an actual thing because she provided a yearbook where she had a picture of her holding some uh, puppets, and that was very interesting. um, yeah, 8.75 for Taylor Spencer. First person that came up after her was Mike McCullough. He wore his signature um, white long sleeve shirt, white collar shirt with a tie. Talked a lot about birds. uh, it got the people laughing because everybody had to think about his jokes, smart jokes. Um, I want to say Mike McCullough was a 8.5 out of 10. Um, Next, I believe we had Ellis Lynn. She had some Tom Cruise jokes. um, and it hit really well with the zoo crowd, actually. So, um, by the way, I sat in the front row, by the way. So I had a pretty much front row view of the whole thing. Um, Ellis Lynn, um, she actually did pretty well with the zoo crowd, actually. So, um, I want to say she was 8.5 out of 10. And then next we can have Lauren Resnick. She talked about her grandpa um, dating, how there was like a glucose monitor with a guy she was dating, or she is dating, who has, like, I guess, diabetes. And that was pretty interesting because um, she said that glucose monitor was always going off, and it was always kind of a cock block. So, so that was pretty fun. I want to say Lauren's set. I want to say it was an 8.75. And then we got Nick Flair. That one was pretty funny, and he kind of went into a little bit of um, he did kind of talk about Compton a little, big, Biggie Smalls. Um, he actually got to sing a little bit for us. He was doing the rap from Biggie Smalls. Um, I think he did talk a little bit about dating too. So that was fun. Um, I want to say he did pretty well. He was an 8.6 out of 10 for his comedy. And then the Truth or Dare. Um, what's pretty interesting was that Mike McCullough chose a dare and he had to call somebody randomly, but the person didn't pick up the phone, so it went to his voicemail. And Mike had to leave a message, um, I guess about a refrigerator running, and I guess they better go catch it. um, and then let's see, Ellis Lynn, she did a dare, and um, she had someone in the crowd read off her latest text messages. Um, it was weird because I texted her that same day, so I was wondering if her text messages would include what mine was, but apparently not. She had other people text her after me, so I guess I was safe. um, and then I guess Lauren Resnick had told us about a truth. Um, she did talk about um, I guess it was something like um, either an uncle or a dad or a cousin. So it kind of sort of um, implied in her response about incest and then not incest, but then because it was worded like, have you ever had like a crush on a person that was like your dad on the outside but not on the inside, as a, or a dad on the inside but not a dad on the outside or something. So something like that. Um, that was pretty interesting because my first thought kind of went into thinking it was something related to incest, but possibly she just could have just played up to the game. So um, I think Mike McCullough got voted the most cringiest um, the cringiest comedy set, and then I guess the cringiest truth or dare was probably Lauren Resnick's. So, um, so yeah, so that was that. Um, Fun night. And it was kind of nice to get to catch up with everybody in the lineup. Lauren Resnick, Ellis Lynn, Taylor Spencer, Mike McCullough, Nick Flair. It was a good night. Um, and then the other show was an interesting one. So I went to the Forgotten Barrel in Escondido. It's a winery, and there are three parts to it. There's a jazz band, and then there were two comics on it, Pman and Sarah Hirschberger. So the person who ran this show was Mary Jo Troyer. So Mary Jo was the person who was, I guess, the producer of this show, um, and she had uh, P Man and Guy Murray um, helping out with photography and videography, and um, Guy Murray, um, he went up to the front on the microphone after It Takes Two. Michael Moaze and Gerald Dukes were playing the jazz music for It Takes Two, and my guy Murray got to introduce Sarah Hirschberger. Um, I gotta say, the jazz band overall for the whole night, pretty good. Played some classic music, played some um, very relaxing music and some upbeat stuff, and people were dancing in front of them. So even Mary Jo Troyer was dancing with the people in front of the jazz band. Um, I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. Um, so I want to say the jazz band was a 9 out of 10. Really good. They were very much in sync, the two guys, and they complement each other pretty well. And I believe Michael Moaze, he got to sing a little bit for some of the songs, so that was pretty cool. Um, and then we got Guy Murray did introduce Sarah Hirschberger, and Sarah Hirschberger did talk about how she bombed one night, but her mom said that she did so well, and that's where Sarah Hirschberger says that she's never been more proud of her mom being an alcoholic. So that was pretty funny. It got the crowd pretty, um, pretty laughing, pretty happy about that. I can hear it in the crowd. It was a sold out show, by the way, inside that winery. And she has some other jokes about um, sex, neighbors, her neighbors having sex, being very exceptional. And then kind of talk about rocks, healing crystals. Um, so it was a very fun set, and the crowd liked it a lot. And um, I want to say that Sarah Hirschberger was a 8.5 out of 10. Um, um, and then we got P-Man. During P-Man's comedy, he actually asked Mary to play piano while he was telling a poem. So that was that was pretty interesting though. Um, it was pretty funny. Um, um, and then Pman told a lot of his jokes. Talked about his kids these days, um, kids and drugs. He kind of talked about um, how he left his kids in the car or his dog in the car because apparently somebody had a dog in the car in the parking lot. And so P Man talked about how he left his kids and the dog in the car with the windows rolled up just to kind of play off the news to the whole crowd. um, so that already kind of got the crowd already warmed up already laughing already. And they were laughing at a lot of stuff that P Man was saying. He did so well. I always enjoyed his set. Um, it's good to know P Man. Um, so P Man, I want to say 9 out of 10 for his comedy. It just so happens I got to see Chris Williams there too. He was doing a side hustle. He drives professionally for people throughout the county, wherever they want to go. So that's kind of cool. It's kind of nice to kind of catch up with them too. Um, Overall, great show. Um, it's always good when you get to see Sarah Hirschberger and P Man performing at comedy shows, and just to see this jazz band between Michael and Gerald. But what was interesting about this particular show, as great as it was, and people were having a lot of great time, Mary kind of freaked out. She was worried that this was not going to go well because the timing and stuff. Um, one of the comics was 20 minutes early to this, um, 20 minutes early to the time that she was supposed to go up. But the weird thing is, Mary had me call the comic um, about the whereabouts of where the comic was. So that was a first. The thing is, I don't know the comic's phone number, but I did call the comic through Instagram. Um, so here's the thing. So the comic showed up 20 minutes early and was already ready to go. Jazz band was already ready to go and already playing music already. And the other comic was also ready to go. The only thing is, Mary kind of freaked out that because the comic was 20 minutes early and just minutes before 20 minutes early, was starting to think that, oh, it's getting close to the time now at 6:45, but the comic showed up at 6:20. And well, I guess in a sense that if you're 20 minutes early to something, I guess you're kind of late. And if you happen to be like way earlier than 20 minutes, I guess you're early. Or you're on time. It's weird because I remember hearing something before that if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, you're really late. I remember hearing that at a, what do you call it? A seminar for an introduction to UCSD extension courses. There's a man who told me that while I was trying to go to a seminar on time, but he then told me that this thing where if you're early, you're on time, but if you're on time, you're late, and if you're late, you're late. So, anywho, I that was a trigger because I remember that, and then this happened on the 24th at the Escondido winery show at Forgotten Barrel. So now the weird thing is, despite the fact that the comic was 20 minutes late and everybody was ready, the jazz band, the comics were ready, Mary was dancing with people to the jazz music at 6:45, 6:50, 7 o'clock, 7:15, and didn't get the schedule started. What was supposed to start at 6:45, she started after 7:15. So I was like, dang. I was like, she was freaking out that someone was late, despite the fact they were early. And then when the time came around to start it, she was 30 minutes dancing into the show with people during the songs because she was trying to chill out. It was just, wow, that was something. So like, I'm just like, wow, she freaked out. She put her phone on the table and pushed it forward in front of her, and she's looking into the abyss, looking at the jazz band, looking at the people, and she's probably panicking that this is not going to start on time and not everyone is ready. But the fact that everybody was ready and they were more than 20 minutes early to the whole thing, everybody is ready, jazz bands, the comics. But she freaked out, and then after she freaked out, she calmed down and she danced with people 30 minutes past the start of the schedule. So, but overall, still great show. Um, but sometimes when you see people work in live time, you get a sense of their personality. And everybody has their quirks. Everybody kind of has like the way they do things, and just kind of see how the personality is. It's not really a bad thing in a way, but just to kind of see it and be shocked by it. But you know, overall, everyone's here for a good time. Everyone's doing their job, and overall, it was a great show. That's the most important thing, and everybody had a good time. That's also a good thing. So those are the two shows I want to talk about. Plus, I wanted to plug the Gumbo Jeremy Christian show. So at the mic drop. So, anyways, remember to see some good shows, guys. Especially Friday night, September 6th, 10 o'clock, Gold Room, Mic Drop Comedy Club for Gumbo and Friends. And I am presenting that night. So also have some good food. Also have some good company when you watch the fights and comedy shows. And oh yeah, have some more good food. And you know the saying goes, boom, Tiggy Maximus, signing off, baby. All right, later guys. Have a good week. Listen to the podcast, spread the word. Booyaka!